2018. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bonnie, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Bova.
Here.
Mrs. Cerrucci. Here. Mr. Gottman.
Here.
Dr. Kalkstein.
Here.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Here.
Mr. McIntyre.
Here.
Mr. Ritter.
Here.
Mrs. Warning. Here. Mr. Williams.
Here. This time we will have an election of a temporary president.
I nominate Jack Bova.
Second. Nominations will be accepted for a temporary president. Nominations need not be seconded. Is there any other nominations?
Me.
Excuse me, we do need a quick vote on the temporary president.
No,
Temporary president.
yeah,
never mind.
we're doing that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Any other nominations? Is there a motion to close nominations?
Motion to close nominations.
Second.
We have a roll call vote?
For Mr. Bova.
No, this is a roll call vote.
For the temporary president.
Temporary president.
Mr. Bova.
Aye, sure.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Aye.
Strongly in favor.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein.
For Mr. Gottman.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
I don't think I need
It says right there, pass.
I do great with a gavel. I am the master of the gavel. All right, listen, I'd like to thank everyone for their votes. It means a lot to me. Mr. Gottman, I know that was hard for you, especially. All right, so I guess the whole purpose of this, in case people are watching at home, is to elect the real president and vice president. So there is an actual nominating committee, and that consists of, I want to make sure I get it, Mr. Gottman, Mr. McIntyre, and Mr. Ritter. And board members were asked for their interest to either be president or vice president, and their names are included in these ballots that we have in front of us. So I guess at this time, we simply pick up our ballot. We're going to start with president. We're going to mark on the ballot who you would like to have serve as president, fold it up, and Bonnie will come and pick it up.
Jack, might there be anybody else who might want to step forward and serve as president?
Might there be anyone else? Is that how it works? I thought they had to make themselves known.
No, if you look
Anyone
at
else?
A, look
You
at
can take
A
a
down there.
nomination from the floor.
Anyone else from the floor? I'm sorry, it did say that right there. You're right, Mr. Ritter. Freddie, you interested? No.
I already asked him.
No? Anyone else?
Where's the,
Martha's not here.
what's that?
Do you have to be a member of the board?
Yeah.
All right, so if no one else is interested, then we select from these. This is for president, yes, sir.
And Dr. Kalkstein had submitted his ballot prior to the meeting because he's on speakerphone, so I have that.
Okay,
For president, Dr. Kalkstein voted for Mrs. Cerrucci. Mr. Lapsevich voted for Mr. Ritter. Mr. Ritter voted for Mr. Ritter. Mr. Bova voted for Mrs. Cerrucci. Mrs. Warning voted for Mr. Ritter. Mr. Williams voted for Mrs. Cerrucci. Mrs. Cerrucci voted for Mrs. Cerrucci. Mr. McIntyre voted for Mrs. Cerrucci. Last is Mr. Gottman voted for Mrs. Cerrucci.
that sounds like a majority for Ms. Cerrucci, if I'm not
Mrs. Cerrucci has
mistaken.
6-3. Mrs. Cerrucci, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mary.
Okay, Ms. Rucci, you take over number 5.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your service, Scotty.
Did what I could.
Thanks. Thanks for your extended service there, Mr. Bova.
Nice job, Mr. Bove.
Speech.
You know, now that it's over,
Next is election of vice president. We have a ballot with two names, Rick McIntyre and John Ritter. So everyone is instructed to do the same unless there's any nominations from the floor for vice president. Going once, twice, 3 times. Close nominations.
Okay, Vice President, Mr. Ritter votes for Mr. Ritter. Mr. Boba votes for Mr. Ritter. Mrs. Warning votes for Mr. Ritter. Mr. Lapsevich votes for Mr. Ritter. Mr. Williams votes for Mr. McIntyre. Mr. McIntyre votes for, Mrs. Cerucci votes for Mr. McIntyre, I'm sorry. Mr. McIntyre votes for Mr. McIntyre. And Mr. Gottman votes for Mr. McIntyre.
You have Kalkstein?
And Dr. Kalkstein, I have his as well, and he votes for Mr. McIntyre. It's 5 to 4, Mr.
For
McIntyre.
Mr. McIntyre.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President. Next is, item number 6, schedule of school board meetings for 2019. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors sets the calendar of school board meetings for 2019 as attached in Exhibit A. And Mrs. Isha to advertise said meetings in accordance with the Sunshine Law.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Oh, wait, I have a question about that.
Just going to try to move that along.
Sorry, no, I just noticed on Tuesday, October 8th, that is the beginning of Yom Kippur. Is there any way we can adjust that meeting to either be the Monday or either Thursday of that week?
I don't see a problem.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that.
We can do that right now.
Monday?
It's also my birthday, by the way.
Do you need to look at
Preference
the-
Monday, Wednesday, or Bruce?
Doesn't matter.
Would Monday the 7th work?
Monday.
Perfect.
I'll adjust.
All right, Monday, October
Monday,
7th.
October 7th.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I don't need a roll call for this. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right,
So we will
motion
make that
passes.
change and then advertise those dates.
I will do that.
Okay, item 7, appointment of solicitor. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors appoints Bruce Dyson Associates, PC, as solicitor under the current terms and conditions agreed upon. I have
So
a motion.
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Do a roll call on this.
Yeah. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please, Bonnie.
Mrs. Cerucci.
Aye.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein. Mr. Lapsevich.
Or decision to make. Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Bova.
I want to pause just this much longer than Ms. Warning did. Just for the dramatic tension. Aye.
Go ahead.
Motion passes.
Motion carries.
Dice, you had a chance to review the contract?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Can I have a motion to adjourn the
So moved.
reorganization meeting?
Second.
The gavel. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay.
Motion machine now. Then we
Yeah.
can do it for a couple years.
Where are you going?
Yeah,
We have another meeting.
I'll explain.
Oh, okay.
See you, Scott.
All right, I'd like to call to order the combined study session and regular board meeting for Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. I guess we need to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance again, if you would, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we need need another roll call since the attendance has changed, Mrs. Easter.
Mr. Boba?
Here.
Mrs. Cerucci?
Here.
Mr. Gottman?
Here.
Dr. Kalkstein?
Here.
Mr. Lapsevich?
Here.
Mr. McIntyre?
Here.
Mr. Ritter?
Here.
Mrs. Warning?
Here.
Mr. Williams is absent.
Comments from residents on agenda items. Anybody in the audience like to speak on agenda items? No. Section A, minutes of previous meetings. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors approves the minutes on the following previously held meetings. Study session from November 13th and regular board meeting from November 20th.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. All right. Section B, we don't have any this evening, so we'll move to Section C, items previously tabled. There are two. Is there any motions to untable anything from anybody? Nope. Section D, moving on to a personnel agenda. Mrs. Crump.
Thank you, Mr. Ritchie. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors accepts and approves the personnel agenda items 1 through 5 as listed in Section D for the combined study session and regular board meeting of Tuesday, December 4th, 2018. Under resignations, we have 2 resignations listed. Leave of absence, 3. Transfers per the collective bargaining agreement, we have 4 names presented before you. Under Section 4 for employment, we have an after-school teacher and substitute food service workers, and we have 1 additional volunteer being added.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Questions or comments?
Yes, I have a question. I see that we have the after-school teachers for elementaries. Are we doing anything at the high school level or middle school level?
We approved those last month. We have 1 for the high school and 1 for the middle school, and they're
Okay.
currently working on their student lists.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Cerucci?
Aye.
Mr. Gottman?
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein? Mr. Lapsevich?
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Section E, we don't have any conferences or conventions, so we'll move to Section F, administrative resolutions. Dr. Short.
If we could start with Mr. Schatz.
Short. Item number 1, approve the payment of all applicable District Section B1 list of bills by the business manager for the month of December 2018 in accordance with Board Policy Number 616. Specifically, the list of bills will be compiled and emailed to the board for review on December 14th. The board will have until the close of business on December 20th to review the list of bills and ask any questions regarding the payments. The vendor check payments will then be mailed to the vendors on December 21st. Item number 2, approve the acceptance of the district's June 30th, 2018 audited financial statements, including supplemental information in the single audit report package as prepared by the district's local auditors, Zelmkowski Axelrod, for the 17-18 fiscal year, and authorize the release of the applicable statements and reports as required to the federal, state, and other various oversight agencies prior to December 31st, 2018, and the March 31st, 2018 reporting deadlines. Please note that Mr. Jared Ewing from Zelmkowski Axelrod will be in attendance at our January 15th regular board meeting to review results of the audit. We're actually probably about a day or 2 away from receiving the final version. I actually did a review today with some comments, and they're doing a final review. So as soon as I have that in a PDF format, I'll email that out to the board. Item number 3, approve the advertisement of a request for proposals for E-rate services and copier services from applicable vendors per the district's applicable RFP specifications. Item number 4, approve and accept the state school safety and security grant awarded to the district through the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency in the amount of $25,000 to be expended in accordance with the various terms and conditions specified in the grant agreement for the 2018-2019 fiscal year. Item number 5, approve the purchase of 10 Garrett walk-through metal detectors in the total amount of $36,750 through the Markle Supply Company via the PA State CoStarz Purchasing Group contract, utilizing the district state school safety and security grant funds for the 18-19 fiscal year as depicted in Exhibit A. Item number 6, approve the Towerco agreement and the construction of a cell phone tower on Eastern Area Special Schools property consisting of the Sunrise School in accordance with the terms and conditions as depicted in Exhibit B. The district is currently one of 8 member school districts participating in Eastern Area Special Schools for the operation of Sunrise School. At me on November 15th, Eastern Area Special Schools Committee approved their resolution recommending the participating school districts approve entering into the Towerco agreement. The agreement was previously reviewed by the committee solicitor Andrews and Price.
Thank you. Can we vote on item 1 separately and item 2?
I'm actually, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask Bruce's opinion.
We need a motion and
Uh,
a second for, let's do, want to do
Well, I
item 1
think I'm going to ask
first?
him how we actually go about the motion.
Oh, okay.
Because several of these items, in my interpretation, fall under the transparency policy that we passed recently for administrative resolutions where it's expenditure of money. Since it's a combined study session board meeting, it kind of falls into a weird gray area where we weren't informed, we didn't have a chance to see this at the last meeting, and it's coming up at this meeting, which I think is the intent of the policy. Obviously, number 1, the approval of list of bills is
Let's
exempt.
vote on them separately, each one,
Everyone?
everyone.
Okay.
Well, then we need to identify as we go which ones are super
Just
majority.
like you make a motion to,
I don't think there's gonna be a problem, but I
yeah,
think,
just make a motion to approve number 1, and
All right.
that's
All
separate.
right. Motion to approve number 1.
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? Are there any questions for Mr. Schott on list of bills? No. Bonnie, roll call.
Mr. Gottman,
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein,
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich,
aye.
Mr. McIntyre,
Aye.
Mr. Ritter,
Aye.
Mrs. Warning,
Aye.
Mr. Bova,
Aye.
Mrs. Cerucci.
Aye. All right, can I have a motion for number 2, release of the audited financial statements?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions or comments? Bonnie, roll call.
Dr. Kalkstein,
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich,
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre,
Aye.
Mr. Ritter,
Aye.
Mrs. Warning,
Aye.
Mr. Bova,
Aye.
Mrs. Cerucci,
Aye.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Item 3, can I have a motion to approve request for proposals for the E-rate and copier services, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bova. Are there any questions or comments on the bid? Go ahead.
Mr. Lapsevich,
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre,
Aye.
Mr. Ritter,
Aye.
Mrs. Warning,
Aye.
Mr. Bova,
Aye.
Mrs. Cerucci,
Aye.
Mr. Gottman,
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein.
Aye.
Item 4, can I have a motion to approve the
So
school and
moved.
safety grant, please?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bova. Are there any questions on accepting the grant? Go ahead, Bonnie.
Mr. McIntyre,
Aye.
Mr. Ritter,
Aye.
Mrs. Warning,
Aye.
Mr. Bova,
Aye.
Mrs. Cerucci,
Aye.
Mr. Gottman,
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein,
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Okay, item 5, can I have a motion to approve the walk-through metal detectors with the grant money from item 4,
So moved.
please?
Supermajority.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any questions?
Will this be one that requires supermajority?
Yeah.
Mr. Ritter,
I have a question.
oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. We're getting a $25,000 grant and detectors of $36,000. Where's the other $11,000 coming in?
Imagine from our safety and security budget, Mr. Schott. Is that correct?
Money's in the budget to make up the variance. It's
have-
$11,750 variance between the
We
grant.
have $11,000 in the security budget where they're going to take the difference from.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Schott?
I got one last question.
Mr. Gottman?
With the 10 that we're buying, once we have acquired all 10, will they be in use all at once?
Mr. Chaky, you want to step in?
Probably not all at once. We're going to start the pilot program, so we're not going to have them all operational at the same time right away.
All right, how long is the pilot program going to last?
Potentially for the remainder of this school year. If we're able to start it around January or February, probably for the rest of the school year.
Okay, and if it doesn't work, are we able to return the ones we don't use? Or are we stuck with them?
I highly doubt we're going to be able to return them, but I anticipate that it's going to be successful.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Dr. Chaky, will we have any at any of the sporting events? Or are they just going to be designated just for the schools?
Maybe eventually, but during the pilot program, we haven't discussed at the sporting
Okay.
events yet.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, roll call, Bonnie.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mr. Bova.
Aye.
Mrs. Cerucci.
Aye.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein.
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
All right.
Okay, item 6, can I have a motion for the agreement for the cell phone tower?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Warning. Are there any questions? Mr. Dice did look over the agreement and gave his blessing, correct, sir?
That's correct.
Okay,
It's
so we have a
fairly,
roll
it's
call?
a standardized. These, I've seen a lot of these cell tower agreements. This is pretty much standardized, and the rent's a reasonable rate.
Anybody else? Okay, go ahead, Bonnie.
Mrs. Warning.
Aye.
Mr. Bova.
Aye.
Mrs. Cerucci.
Aye.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Dr. Kalkstein. Mr. Lapsevich.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
All right.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Motion passes. The last one. Okay. Section G, resolutions presented by board members. There were none in advance. Does any board members have any resolutions this evening? No? All right, section 12, comments from residents on non-agenda items. Anybody in the audience wish to address the board this evening?
Bonnie, did anybody sign up?
No one
sign up in
signed up in
advance?
advance. No one.
Okay, we'll move on to reports. You want to start?
I can start. Just a reminder to the public that on Thursday night at the LGI at Gateway High School, we will be holding an event to recognize the district and our schools for their work with the PA Future Ready Index. It's a brand-new reporting site that PDE has implemented that replaces the PA School Performance Profile. So everyone is invited, myself and the central administration team will be there to review the findings from the PA Future Ready Index. Say that 3 times.
PA Future Ready Index.
That's all I have.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, Mrs. Spongard.
Thank you, Mrs. Cerucci. I just want to wish everyone a happy and safe holiday. That's all. Thank you.
Dr. Chaky.
Nothing further.
Dr. Rossi.
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Schott.
Nothing further, thank you.
Mrs. Crump, we hiring anybody?
We do have postings out for school police and paraprofessionals, and we also want to remind all the December graduates that Kelly Services is accepting applications for substitute services, and we can reference our district site for their phone number, or you can contact our office and we'll help you get in touch with them.
Thank you. Mr. Ritter.
Sure, a couple things. Paul Schott, may I ask a question? The Management Discussion Analysis Report, we've all seen that, it's been given to us. You're going to make a public presentation of that. Have we nailed down the date when that's going to occur yet?
The local auditors are actually going to review the results of the entire audit.
Okay, that would be
So
a
they'll be doing
really,
that on the 15th of January, our regular board meeting.
okay, that'll be a really nice one for the public to watch, because we've done a really good job of collecting all the statistics, and this is a nice encapsulated overview of, how well we've done as reviewed from a dispassionate third-party outsider. So please come to that one. Next, there's a program called Safe to Say Something program that's going to be launched on January 14th of 2019. I read through this, the backgrounder for this. What a wonderful way for the students to be able to come forward in a cogent way and present something that they're troubled about and have it handled and classified by people so that it gets not dropped but carried through, whether something's, highly suspicious or dangerous or it needs immediate attention versus, maybe it's just something that needs to be looked into, or maybe it's just false, like I don't like green cheese on the moon. So there's a way for the students to be trained to respond, and then those to be judged and analyzed and followed through on, so that the goal of all this is so that the students and the teachers can be much more safe. So this is a database-driven way to handle those types of complaints or alerts or recommendations. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that, rolled out January 14th. And there's going to be some training offered by the staff here, so that'll be great.
And if I could just add, Mr. Ritter.
Oh, sure.
Myself and Dr. Chakey did start meeting with the local municipality, Monroeville Police, also the Pitcairn Police, because when that information is disseminated, it will go to the authorities as well as the school district.
And we can recall that in Parkland, Florida, there were some early signs that there was some trouble occurring, and the ball got dropped more than one time. So this is a response to that, so that the ball doesn't get dropped and somebody actually sees through and is governed by that response. Okay. Next, I'm still looking for some music that can be posted for the local cable access stations. So if you've got some of that, please get it to us. Next, the Monroeville Public Library recently celebrated the launch of their new elevator. The school board was invited. I went. The Monroeville Choral Group was in the front area, and they sang some wonderful songs, but that completely left the cookie table unprotected in the back. So I went back, and while the singing was going on, I made sure that the cookies were safe. And so congratulations to the Monroeville Public Library. Members of the community, take your kids over to the library, get a book, ride the elevator up and down, and enjoy our new library. Thank you very much, Monroeville Library Board, for all the work you've done to do that. And they also demonstrated a new addition that's going to be added behind the library, where you'll be able to have a cookout, sit down, put your feet in the water, play with the fish, meet under a shaded area, have some hamburgers and stuff like that. So it's going to be a nice way to get a book, go out in the back, sit down in the summer, and read to the kids or play. So congratulations, Monroeville Library. Thank you for what you're doing for the kids of Monroeville and Pitcairn. And that's all I have. Oh, and congratulations to the new president and vice president.
Thanks, John. Mr. Boba?
Yeah, just one quick thing. I'd heard from a number of residents about an article that was in the paper concerning decisions that, it appeared in the article, decisions that had been made about school buildings and demolition of school buildings and the construction of other school buildings. And I just want to say publicly, unless I've missed lots of important meetings, no such decisions have been made. Lots of due diligence performed. We've contracted with a firm to help lead us in this pursuit, but there's simply no decisions made, and there aren't any in the immediate future, but we're going to get it done as quickly as we can and as well as we can. So just wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think the board and central office team has been very transparent about that we are taking a look at all options, and there's been no decisions made. So put the people at ease with that.
And happy holidays to everybody, sure.
Mrs. Warning?
A few things. John, you left out. Okay, the dedication to the library for the elevator wasn't there yet. So it was just the shaft. So they didn't cut the ribbon yet. They did say that, John, when you were watching the table.
So no elevator.
There's no elevator.
There is a shaft.
There is a shaft.
So it's basically a one-way express elevator.
They have it covered.
Fortunately,
They did
no one
not-
tried the new elevator.
Well, they still have it, they had it wrapped, they have it wrapped like a present with the ribbon. The mayor was there, municipal manager. It was very nice, and they wanted to cut it, but it was just the hole. So they didn't do it. They're hoping it'll be ready the beginning of January, that they would like to have another affair. So there may be more cookies and appetizers, Mr. Ritter.
Count me in.
Mr.
Because
Bova, you'll attend the next one.
That's why I didn't go to this one.
Well, Mr. Ritter was taking video of the people singing, that he's going to have Mr. Brown, Mr. Mike Brown, put it on our cable channel over the holidays. But it was a very nice affair. I never realized how much the library does for our students. Talking to a lot of the members up there, the kids from the high school that go down there after school, they help out. It's a mentoring program they have.
You know, I think we should start looking into more with what they're doing, with what our district's doing, try to do some kind of combination with them, because there's an awful lot to offer. Thank you again for the invitation. It was a very nice evening. Also, I just want to say thank you to our Gateway High School Marching Band, Color Guards, and everyone who was down in Florida. They put on a fantastic presentation, really showed what Gateway's all about. An awful lot of hard work went into there with everything that they do. Thank you to the band instructors, all the not majorettes, the color guards, all the instruments, everybody that works together, because you really show our community what Gateway's all about. To all the fall season sports teams, to all the coaches, to all the parents, thank you. It's hard to believe that another season has come and gone for all these activities. We start off when it's really hot. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, how are these kids going to make it? And then we end up when it's freezing cold with the snow coming down. But the time and dedication that you guys put into all this is everything that we do. It really makes it successful, no matter how you look at it, wins or losses. So thank you again from everybody here on the board for everything that you do. Our winter sports are upon us. There's an awful lot to see and do. We can go down with the boys and girls basketball, boys and girls swimming. We have the wrestling. We have the hockey team. We have the bowlers. Everybody's have been preparing, and now we're ready to go. So if you have time, stop in to see them. Everything will be listed and updated on the website. Talk to our athletic director about that. And, you know, hopefully everything takes off well. We do have a policy meeting, I believe, Dr. Short, on the 11th of December.
That is correct. We're going to publicize that tomorrow. There will be an agenda included, so those individuals who wish to see that can simply go to the website to see the agenda as well.
Okay, I just wanted to make notice that I did talk via email with Mr. Lorenzo, and he hopes to have the snack list finalized by tonight or tomorrow, so hopefully then we can present that. Congratulations to Mary Beth and Rick on your new position. Also to our PTOs and to our elementary schools. There's an awful lot that I don't know if everybody realizes what they do, but we have two fantastic social workers here at Gateway.
Yes,
Ms.
we
Michelle
do. I second
Major
that. I said I second that. Yes, we do.
and Mr. Aaron Smith. They go above and beyond that we don't even realize what they deal with. And I have reached out to them, and when they have told me everything that they do, I don't want to bring it up to the public, but it's amazing. I don't know how they do it in this small time frame that they have, but just everything that they do for our, I don't want to say less fortunate, but all our students here at Gateway that need that extra help. We have Shop with a Cop coming up that they look at and everything, so I just want to say a special thank you to Ms. Michelle Major and Aaron Smith for what they do for our district. And I can't forget, but to our students here at Gateway, you know, I never know what's happening on a Friday night or a Tuesday night, Friday night basketball, football game. They have a theme. You never know until you see those kids walk in, then you know it's either Hawaiian night, it's the flag night, it's USA night, it's the Marines night. These kids come in such a horde of just, these kids just combine together. And it's just wonderful to see these kids all, it's just amazing. You don't believe it. In the rain, they're sitting there, the snow. These kids are drenched, but they're behind their teams no matter what. And I just want to thank Gateway students, our administrators, just for everything they're doing to pull this school district together. And, you know, to bring the school spirit back, it's amazing. And I know Pitt has their zoo. I think Gateway could really go up against them from what we see anymore. So, again, thank you. Happy holidays to everyone. And here's to a good new school year.
Thank you. Mr. Lepsovich.
Thank you. Congratulations to Mary Beth and Rick McIntyre being my new president and vice president. And I feel that we're going to work as a team here. And also, I was approached about 2 or 3 times on this scoreboard. Here we go back with the scoreboard about the 7-2 vote. But the thing is, they was thanking us as a group about finding sponsorships for the board. And I told the people, I give credit where it's due. person, the board and myself should be thanking for would be Val Warning, because Mr. Short and myself gave her some literature to hand out to these corporations and hospitals, and she was the one that got the school bus company involved, knowing that we had a scoreboard to be sold, and she's the reason why we have a new scoreboard. Thank you for that, Ms. Warning, and a belated happy birthday to you and anniversary to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Lapsevich, appreciate that.
Mr. Dice, do you have anything?
Nothing further.
Mr. McIntyre?
Yeah, sorry, that threw me. Yeah, I was going to touch on some of the things that Mr. Bova spoke on, but he obviously, I think, covered it pretty well. I think some of the speculation that came was based on options that we've looked at for possibilities that we might do in the future for buildings. And when we say that in a meeting, it doesn't mean that it's been decided. It doesn't mean that that's the avenue we're taking. It means that this is an option. And the fact that we're saying it in a meeting is just us trying to put out all of the options that we're thinking about into the public eye so that they can see it and discuss it for the sake of transparency. Outside of that, I'm going to first thank Mr. Williams for his service as president. I think he did an excellent job the last 2 years. I'm sure Mary Beth will carry the torch on quite well. I want to thank the board for the vote of confidence and for giving me the opportunity to serve as vice president. I appreciate the honor. And basically just happy holidays to everybody. And once again, New Year's Eve is coming. Don't drive drunk. Call a Lyft or an Uber.
Mr. Gottman?
Yeah, a couple things. One, I do want to take note of the artwork behind me. This month's selection is artwork from all of our elementary schools. As you can see, we got all sorts of things. We have a Halloween theme. We have some springtime, which is wishful thinking right now.
Very much so.
Some 3D butterflies like, and we have even some unique, looks like to be some Aztec type foil paintings, which look amazing. So if anybody has a chance to take a look at these, please stop by. For the students, good news, you're halfway there. And tonight is night 3 of Hanukkah, so for the Jewish community, I want to wish everyone there a happy Hanukkah, and for the rest of the Monroeville community, please have a happy and safe holidays, and enjoy the New Year's, and we will see you here next year.
Okay. It's not much to add. My colleagues did a really good job. Just want to thank everybody for your vote of confidence in me and Mr. McIntyre, and again, just thank the board and the administration. Here at Gateway, we have a lot of really good things happening, and it's because we have a lot of good people in leadership here, and they're sitting around this table. They're our administrators. They're, doing an excellent job at moving Gateway ahead, and everybody that's on this board cares very deeply about this school district and this community, and I think we're going to continue to move this district forward, and at least we're going to do everything we can to do that. Right, Mr. Short?
Absolutely.
So with that, I would seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Meeting adjourned.